Welcome, students. Welcome to the first topic for this course under the economics. I haven't taken us through the courses that we'll be considering under this topic. So we'll be considering the nature and the meaning of economics. We're considering the nature and the mode and the meaning of economics. So under this is the chapter 1. This is the first topic we'll be considering under this course economics. Under chapter 1, we'll be looking at the nature and the meaning of economics, and the course outline includes we're looking at the definition and the scope of economics. We'll be considering the basic economic problems. We'll be looking at the methodology of economics. Also, we'll be viewing the microeconomics and macroeconomics. Also, we'll be looking at economic system, and lastly, we'll be considering production possibility curve, which is referred to as PPC. So relax and give me your attention, and let's write on and let us see what you can ascertain from this topic. Let's move on. Definition and scope of economics. I know before now we have different definitions, we have different uh, meanings of economics, definitions postulated by different scholars, different economists, different people from different walks of life. We've been taught that in secondary school because most of us did economics or while we were in secondary school. Many of us did economics while we were in university, or while we were in polytechnic or college of education. We did economics, and many of us still remember what the topic entails. Many of us remember what the topic entails. Many different scholars they've taken their time to give their own definitions with respect to economics. We know of different scholars that are giving economics, but I would take my time. I would take my time only to consider the definitions that is generally acceptable, and that is what we'll be looking at, that I'm using to explain what economics is. So give me your time and let us ride on. So a simple and most widely quoted definition of economics is that given by the British economists, not given by the British economist Lionel Charles Robbins, what other within 1890, it would live within 1898 and 1984. He defined economics as the science which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative resources. So the reason why this definition was generally accepted was because of key elements that were embedded in topic. One of the elements is a science. Is a science is a science that studies. It also involves the study of what human behavior, how human behavior relates. Is a science that human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative resources. So with respect to the definition, the end here refers to human wants, which are classified to either goods or services. So this ends here is talking about the wants of this human being, which can be in form of goods or service. Sorry, goods or service. So the ends and scarce means. So the means talks about it refers to productive resources, otherwise called the factors of production, where factors of production includes land, labor, capital, and what? An entrepreneur. So the definition of Professor Lionel C. Robbins is very imperative, and that is why it was generally acceptable. So, like I said, it's a science which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means, which has alternative resources. So, like I explained to you, that the ends has to do with the want of the human beings, which refers to the goods or service, while the means refers to the productive resources, otherwise known as factors of production. Like two the factors of production includes land, labor, capital, and uh, capital and entrepreneur. So economics is described as a science subject because based on the way economists study and explain human behavior. So the reason why it's being seen as a science subject is the manner at which the behavior of how human beings react with respect to the environment, with respect to its wants, how it relate to its wants, and with the scarce resources that are available, and also to how they also relate to the factors of production, which includes land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. So and explain human behavior concerning how best to allocate scarce resources among competitive alternative uses. So let's take a look at the basic economic problem. Let's take a look at the basic economic problem. So we're looking at some key problems in economics. So these are problems that economists came with the minds. Well, these are one of the reasons why economics came into existence, so that the problems that are ongoing in society would be efficiently uh, dealt with. One of the basic economic problem is scarcity. What did I call it? I call it what? Scarcity. So let's look at what scarcity is. Economic scarcity means people do not have as much as they desire. Did not have as much as they desire. The problem of scarcity arises as a result of the fact that at any point in time, the productive resources available in society are limited, whereas human wants are unlimited. So the idea behind scarcity is that is a basic economic problem that both the idea of economics and the the idea behind it is that we all know that our wants are numerous. They are insatiable. That is, our wants, our wants are numerous, numerous, and they are insatiable. That is, they can never be satisfied irrespective of the resources at our disposal. So scarcity came with the idea that the resources that we have on ground are not are not are not enough to meet the wants of every human being, because human wants are unlimited, and the productive resources we have at our disposal will not be enough to meet those wants. So this is why scarcity is one of the basic problems of economics, and it has to do with people not having enough to meet their desire. For instance, now as a human being, I have currently I need some basic things. I want some basic things in my currently now, but with respect to it now, I don't have enough money to acquire them. For instance, now maybe I want to get my car, I want to get my land, I want to book my masters, I want to uh, uh, I want to travel out, and these are wants in my life, and I don't have enough money to do them. So because uh, the resources, I don't have enough financial resources, one of the resources that that are not available. So my financially, I'm not capable financially now to meet those wants. So wants are always unlimited, while what resources are what are limited. So must every society must resolve four fundamental economic question. The first question is what is what to the first question is what to produce, what is to be produced. So every society must determine in some manner what goods and services and how much of goods during any given period of time that will be produced. So this is a basic problem. Every economic was every economic society must answer the question: what is to be produced? So what are the things that we need to produce? How should we produce? And how much of it should we be produced within a given period of time? So the other point is how is the unit how the second question the second fundamental economic question is how is the output to be produced? How is the output to be produced? What haven't ascertained what to be produced. The question is how should we produce this item? Each firm must decide how to utilize the input to achieve optimal resources. Optimal resources allocation. That is the manner of combination of factors of production in order to produce maximum output quantum of goods and services possible. So what I'm trying to say here is that having decided on what to produce, you must be able to know the kind of the quantity of goods to produce, the resources that need to be put together to ensure that we achieve optimal resources allocation with respect to what to produce. So the third fundamental economic question is what for whom to produce. For whom to produce. So this talks about the category of consumers that the goods uh, should be produced to. Are we limiting the goods to the young people? Are we limiting it to the children? Are we limiting it to youth? Are we limiting it to adults? Are we limiting it to infants? Are we limiting it to children to teenagers? So this is also an important question that need to be dealt with in a society. So for whom to produce, we need to also answer that question that for whom are we to produce sorry our goods to. And the last question is how to facilitate future growth with limited resources. So this talks about scarcity and it talks about uh, the resources must be the resources that are limited must be utilized at a rate that would enhance future production possibilities. So what I was saying is that the limited resources we are going to use them efficiently and effectively to meet those things that we need to produce and also ensure that we also enhance future production possibilities. So having explained scarcity, I took my time and gave you and talked about the four fundamental economic questions that would arise in society. The second basic economic problem is what I call choice. What did I call it? Basit, what did I call it? Choice. Number one was what? From what did I call number one? Was I called it okay, scarcity. Number two now is what is choice. Choices become necessary as a result of scarcity. Making a choice implies giving up something in order to get something else. So every day we make choices. It happens to be one of the fundamental basic economic problem that every human being face. Today I had made several choices. Of course, you are to where your decision to take your phone, uh take your system to watch, listen to lecture right now is a decision, is a choice. So it's a choice you make. Right? You have decided the decision to get video lectures is a choice. to write that kind of exam is a choice. The choice you make, the decision you make by uh skipping to watch that seasonal movie to watching your video lectures is a choice. So it is one of the things we do daily, and the reason why we make choices, the more reason is because our resources are limited, and we would need to choose the best resources. So having explained that, irrespective of the kind of level in individual household, choices is being made in the firm organizations, choices being made also in the government as well. We make also make choices. So having explained what choice is, now we now consider the scale of preference. What do I call it? Scale of preference. Scale of preference. Scale of preference. It is described as a list of all wants to satisfy, arranged in order of priority or importance. So scale of preference basically uh, talks about the table or the list that shows our wants with respect to their priority. Like I told you, I want to get a car. My wants, I want to get a car. I want to get a car. I want to get a house. I want to travel. I want to I want to go for my MB, go for my masters, go for my masters. So by me preparing a scholar of reference, I have to prioritize these ones according to their order of priority. So for instance, for me, let me say the first important one is to get the house. Second one is to go for to travel. The third, by ranking, then the third one now maybe I can put to get my master, to go for, aim for my master. The fourth one, which is the least, get the car. So this is my scale of preference. Number one is the most important. Two two is the second most important thing. The third one is my masters, and the fourth. So with the knowledge of scale of preference, I've been able to determine my want with respect to the order of their priority. So this is what scale of preference entails under the basic economic problems of economy. So the fourth part is what is opportunity. What did I call it? Opportunity. What did I call it? Opportunity cost. It's not opportunity, it's opportunity cost. Let me correct that. Opportunity what? Opportunity cost. I believe you are following. Opportunity costs. So economists use the term opportunity cost to mean the next best alternative for gone in the process of making a choice. The opportunity see that the next best alternative for gone, the next best alternative for gone in the process of making a choice. So every one of us we embark on this basically every day of our life. There are alternative we do give in exchange of one commodity. So for instance, if I was given back to my question, back to my scale of reference, I have the first point was what? To have a house. The second other one is what? To second one was what? The second point was to have a house was the first. Second one was travel. Third one is masters. My second want on that scale of reference was to travel, followed by my masters, then my masters, I went for my master's, and number four, what I go is what, to get my car. So if I'm being given 10 million naira, 10 million naira to accomplish all this, and the cost of everything, for instance, to get my house, maybe I will spend 2.5 million. To travel, I'm going to spend 1 million. To get my master's program, I will spend 5 million. And to get my car, I will spend 4.5 million. So the aggregate of these, this is 3.5 million. This is 8.5 million. 8.5 million plus 4.5 million. That is 13.5 million. 13.5 million. So, and the resources, the amount I have is how much? Is 10 million naira. So I can rank my my want, and the I might sacrifice, for instance, for instance, assume I'm sacrificing my car, which is 4.5 million. So I'm sacrificing this car for others. So this kind of sacrifice is my alternative for God. Or for instance, now in the other illustration, for instance, let's assume I have I have two pairs of shoe, and uh, I I I have to. So having explained this car philosophy, because I want to and I want to I have two pairs of shoe, and I have to give one now to respect to what I want to accomplish in few days. So by me giving it out, it has become an alternative for God to me, because I gave it out in order to accomplish something. So it is what we refer to as an opportunity cost to me. So having explained what opportunity cost means, uh so another example is, for instance, a housewife desires a tin of rice and a tin of beans, each selling for 200 naira each. For instance, there's a housewife that want to acquire the tin of rice and also a tin of beans, and each of them goes for 200 naira. But she had only 200 naira. Her desire was to get rice and a tin of rice and a tin of beans, but she only has 200 naira, and so then going to total it costs 400 naira, because individually they cost 400 naira per one. So she decided to buy a tin of rice. So the opportunity cost of the tin of rice bought is the tin of beans forgone. And that's the best example. So the opportunity cost now uh, of the tin of rice that she chose was the tin of beans. You get that now? So that is what opportunity cost entails. Let's look at the methodology of economics. This section addresses how economists organize their studies to make economic science a worthwhile field of human endeavor. Now, the scientific method. Economists adopt scientific method in their investigation of economic problems and economic relationships. In this method, problems are identified and defined. Information relevant to the problem are collected, organized and analyzed, leading to establish an economic problem theory. So, the scientific method process is the economic the economics has features of the scientific method by undergoing the scientific method before giving out a conclusion. So it also possesses these features whereby problems are being identified and they are defined as well. Information relevant to the problem are being gathered. It has been organized, has been gathered as well. Thereafter, the organized and it's been organized and analyzed, leading to the establishment of an economic theory. So this will normally result to an organized and analyzed economic theory. What is an economic theory? An economic theory, otherwise referred to as economic law, economic principle, or economic model, helps to explain human economic behaviors. especially production, distribution, exchange, and consumption, as well as to predict the likely cause of future events. And economic theory is developed around one or more assumptions. So there are various economic problems. They arise in order to through shed more light on some economic terminologies, on some economic terms, and on human behavior with respect to production, with respect to distribution, exchange, consumptions, as well as to also to predict future events. As we take our time, as time goes on, I will explain some, give you some economic theory, give you some economic principle, them on in some material, in some questions, they may call it economic law, they may call it economic principle or economic model. They still form they are still the same thing what it was an economic theory. So let's now look at micro and macro economics, because economics is basically divided into these two parts, the microeconomics and the macroeconomics. So on the world, let's now start. Traditionally, economics is divided into two main parts, branches rather. We have the microeconomics and what? The macroeconomics. Like from the word micro talks about something like small, while macro something talks about something that is wide and big in scope. So let's start with microeconomics. Microeconomics. So microeconomics is concerned with specific segments of the economy, particularly behavior of individual consumer, firm, and of groups of firm in the industry. So microeconomics is just a fragment of an economy which focuses on human behavior, more focus on the behavior of individual, how the individual relates, how the consumer relates, which also focuses on the behavior on firms and a group of firms. So it does not have to do with anything that has to do with the government, it does not have to do anything that has to do with significant proportion of the economy. It's just a fragment of the economy, and that fragment is related to how the behavior, how individuals, how they behave to the economic, how consumer behave, how firms, how group of firms and industry behaves. As a branch of economics, it examines how resources are organized, controlled, and rewarded in various economic activities, as well as how relative prices of goods and services are determined. The main topics falling under within microeconomics include, so the major elements in microeconomics are the theory of price and wage determination, the theory of consumer behavior, the theory of production and welfare economics. So I'll take my time also to look at all these. These are the things we're considering under under microeconomics that I explained during the introduction part. So having explained microeconomics, like let's move to macroeconomics. Macroeconomics is the study of the economy as a whole. Is what the study of the economy as a whole. I told you that microeconomics study the economy, so study just a significant part, a proportion, a segment of the economy. But macroeconomics is not limited to a segment. It's concerned about the general economy. They study the economy as a whole. In microeconomics, emphasis is on aggregate economic variables such as economic level of employment, total output, and income, total money supply, overall government spending, the levels of taxes, investment and saving, and so on. So while microeconomics is limited to a specific part of the economy, macroeconomics is concerned about the whole economic as a whole. So it concerns elements that affect everybody in the that affect everybody in the economic, and such elements include the economic levels of employment, the total output, total money supply, government spending, levels of taxes, investment and saving, and so on. So it follows that macroeconomics explores the problems of unemployment. So it talks about unemployment, inflation, external disequilibrium, sluggish economic growth, general poverty, and inequality in what in the macro economy. So these are the basic elements that the macroeconomics entails. So let's now look at economic system. Economic what system. So every economy have a system. The system talks about how the limited resources is being allocated is being shared amidst the unlimited ones. So an economic system describes the mechanism by which by which scarce resources, limited resources, are allocated in the society. The nature of the relationship between the individual and society, and the role of government in the allocation of resources and the direction of economic activity. So this has to do with how resources and economic is being allocated in society. It also relates with the relationship that exists between individual, society, and also the role the government plays in the allocation of resources and the direction of economic activity. So like I said, every country, every nation have their own economic system. So, and the one that affects the economy is what we'll be looking at. Of course, every country has their own system of allocating scarce resources. So, let's now look at the function of economic system. I'll explain what economic system is. Let's look at its functions. One of the functions of economic system is what is the allocation of resources. One of the function of economic system is the allocation of resources. How do I call it? Is the allocation of resources. So like I explained earlier that resources are limited by our want and unlimited. So having one of the practicing one of the economic system would help to effectively allocate resources amidst the unlimited ones. So the second point is what is the organization of production. So with the aid of an economic system, production can be organized appropriately. So the flow of production, the system of production, the step of production can be successfully embarked on as a result of a good economic system that is being practiced in an economy. So the third function is what is the distribution of goods and services. So the aid of an economic system can facilitate good distribution, can facilitate good channel to ensure the distribution of goods and services in a particular economy. So where there is a economic system that exists in a nation, that is functioning well, is going to facilitate and enhance the distribution of goods and services that is being produced in such economy. The fourth point is what is the economic growth and development. So where a system has practice and successfully use a good economic system, it can result to an increase and it can result to the growth and development of such economies. You could expect to the gross domestic product, you could expect to the level of employment, you could expect to how resources is being managed between the individual, between government, between firms and organizations. So a good economic system would facilitate economic growth and development. And the last point of the function is what is economic stability. What did I call it? Economic stability. So the help of economic system can bring about stability in an economy, where the economic is having issues to expect to the allocation of the limited resources. The system that is being adopted would help the individuals, the governments, and the firms to successfully allocate resources. So we'll continue in our next class. Bye for now. Let's take a break.